Oh, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Smarkchat. That is right, I am your host, Tommy. Now, before I was doing this video, I really had no idea as to what I was going to do. But it all kind of ties in after today's news, and today is Wednesday, the 30th, after today's news. I hear voices in my head, they count to me, they understand. That is right, in case you did not hear it. Randall Keefe Orton suspended for 60 days. Now I'll get to that. Second wellness violation. I'll get to that. Because what I have to say in 12 minutes or less all ties in. Now, WWE came out with a list. It's a top 25 list of the greatest mic workers of all time. And look, I even came prepared. I have show prep here. I wrote down the top 25. You know, I used to do a podcast, but then I got lazy and stopped doing it. But I'm finding, just as a side note here, that doing these videos is hard because I can't fart, I can't scratch my nuts, I can't be in my boxes, I gotta be all prepared, kinda. Can't make it look like I'm reading from a script. But anyway, on to the top 25 greatest mic workers of all time, and I want to know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe to my videos on YouTube, Smarkchat. You could always email me a question at smarktalk@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at Smarkchat. Now, here's the top 25. What are your thoughts on this? Number 25, Albano. 24, Rude. Rude on that list, way too low. Should be much higher. If you recall, Rude, Rick Rude that is, even when he was injured, he was kept around just because of his mic skills. This guy knew how to use his mouth. And if he was still around today, I think he would definitely be in the business as a commentator, a manager, so on and so forth. Santino Marella, number 23. What the hell? DiBiase is up next. Miz okay, but his promos are kind of gimmicky catchphrases. You know, really. You know, good. Wouldn't put him on the top 25. Jesse the Body Ventura, another guy. Even after wrestling, this guy always knew how to use his mouth. Wasn't the best of workers, but was stayed around because he was able to talk. Triple H is up next. Oh, I am the game. Triple H, outdated look, way overrated. He probably made this list, had to put himself over. Paul Heyman, another guy. Even after wrestling, he was at a 6-year hiatus, still kept around, kept his name out there because he knows how to talk. Edge. Edge. I remember Edge when he first came out, when he was with the Brood. Fell in love with him. He just said one phrase, and everyone kind of was intrigued, and just with that one phrase that he said, you could tell that he has charisma. He said the freaks come out at night, the very first time he spoke, and then gradually he got more mic time. With Edge and Christian, ENC connection, a little bit sophomoric, but still, it's a different type of promo than your, let's say, Terry Funk type of promo. Edge. Billy Graham. Foley, Hogan, CM Punk, JBL, DiBiase, Rhodes, Cena, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jericho, Flair, Piper, and your number 1 is Austin. Now, if you'll keep a track, I'm looking at my list here, and I left out 2 of them because I couldn't read my handwriting. Bobby the Brain Heenan was between JBL and Dusty Rhodes, and the other one, honestly, and Billy Graham. And now there was one above that where I cannot read, but you got the gist. Some of the things with that list, Marella, come on, up there way too high. Miz, up there way too high. You know, with these lists, and I don't know why I put so much, why I get myself all worked up about these lists when I think about it now. In actuality, really what it is, it's a bunch of writers for the WWE website that worked at VH1, MTV. They know their pop culture, but they really don't know wrestling. You know, it's the same type of thing with all these lists. Now remember, this list that I gave you was not WCW, ECW. This is the top 25 greatest mic workers that were in the WWE, WWF. At that list, you know, the top 4, who could argue with the top 4? I mean, you could make an argument either which way, where it would be Flair number 1, Piper number 2, Rock number 3, Austin number 4. I think it's really debatable. No one's right, no one's wrong. It's all a matter of opinion. But what I do want to say about this list, people that should be on that list and for whatever reason were not on that list, Ultimate Warrior, one of them. A lot of people don't get his promos, rambling, but most of them make sense if you really listen to it. They were intense, which makes it why it is a good promo. Even now, if you look at his YouTube videos, still one of the best. Warrior, one of my favorites growing up. Mr. Perfect should have been there, I feel. Terry Funk should have been there. Morocco should have been there. Blackjack Mulligan should have been there. All worthy names that should have been on there, but for whatever reason were left out. You know, go back, look at the YouTube clips. You know, some of these guys should have been on there, some of the guys on the list should have been taken out. What are your thoughts? Who's on the list that shouldn't be on the list? Who would you rather see on the list? Who's the greatest mic person in your opinion? Let me know, rate, comment, subscribe, Smarkchat. The second YouTube channel that I do have, the Tom Brand 1, rate, comment, subscribe. I would have got this whole video concept down. The second video clip that you've seen, there was no lighting. I put the lights on. I'm learning as we go. Now, I want to go into Randy Orton. I brought that up and how this all ties in. The tie-in is, and the theme of this video should be, now what? With Randy Orton being suspended, now who's going to take his spot? Orton out, 60 days wellness violation. Who's going to take his spot? Taking point, look at the list of wrestlers in FCW. Who strikes you, if you've been watching some of the clips from the FCW, who strikes you as a good promo guy? My honest opinion, none of these guys have promo skills. Not back like they did in the olden day. Who's going to take Orton's spot? Now I feel bad for Ziggler, because he was, rumor is, supposedly feuding with Orton. Ziggler once again is left out in the dark. Now what? Let me leave you off with this, and this is just my opinion on how to make, maybe this might help, it might not. It might help in developing some of these FCW's mic work skills. Rumor is, if you remember, recall news back a few months ago that FCW was to be shut down. In actuality, a few months later, what it is, or what we're hearing from the dirt sheets, is that FCW really will be now known as Next. They're going to have Next in a college arena. which is basically some of, if not all, of the FCW wrestlers that are currently in FCW. Now, here's my proposal. If you ever followed indies, are in local school gymnasiums. They have crowds of 200, 300 people, but they're really smart marks. They interact. The crowd interacts with the wrestlers, and the wrestlers have to feed off of the crowd. So my proposal to hopefully gain the mic skills with these talent from FCW is, why not have FCW be in local gymnasium halls? Why not? The cost will be inexpensive as opposed to a regular arena. You don't need a big crew for the production. Why not do it in a local school arena? You have all your smart marks come out there to these type of shows, which they do. They will interact with the FCW crowd, and really that will help with the wrestlers with their promo, interact, know how to act, and not so much rely on a script. I think with these crowds in arenas, they're subdued. It's really not your hardcore wrestling fans for the most part. I mean, that's what I think, because right now you really have no one to take Orton's spot. Please let me know what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. Smarkchat. Follow me on Twitter, Smarkchat. And until next time, big night before I go. Tomorrow, Impact Wrestling Live. Anxious to see what will happen. Obviously, I will leave some of my thoughts, reviews on Impact very, very soon. Until then, later, Mark.